Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
Barbara McNab is the host of the YouTube show The Bare Pantry and the author of several cookbooks. We sat down with her and she shared the story of her family's migration to the United States of America and some of the early challenges they faced. We take a break to hear from our partners, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, Minister Kevin Bernard, and DeBarry.
At Silkgrass Farms, we believe in more than just growing food. We're cultivating a future. Across 9,000 acres in the foothills of the Maya Mountains, our family of farms grows a vibrant array of crops: coconuts, citrus, cacao, watermelons, avocados. But our mission goes beyond harvests. Through sustainable agriculture, we are not just growing crops, we're strengthening ecosystems and reversing the impacts of climate change. Silkgrass Farms is a part of a global movement, transforming modern food systems into living stories of nutrition, nature, and people. From our fields to your table, every product tells a story of health and hope for the future.
Orange Walk, the future is brighter. Since Kevin Bernard became your representative, progress has never stopped, with Plan Belize 2.0 leading the way. In Palmar, 2 main roads have been paved. The main road that passes through Tower Hill Village has been paved, connecting our community. In Tan Pine Ridge, the entire road has been paved, a major step forward. And every month, new roads are being paved in Orange Walk East. Kevin Bernard is committed to building a stronger Orange Walk East, one road at a time. Together, we're moving forward. Kevin is the people's champion.
DeBarry is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. DeBarry, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
I have the honor and privilege of talking with Barbara McNab Grinage, who is a good friend of a friend of mine known as Hugh Fuller Jr. And a lot of us can remember Hugh Fuller Jr. because Hugh Fuller Sr. used to be the cabinet secretary and used to work with the father of the nation, the Right Honorable George Price. Hugh Fuller Jr. obviously was a broadcaster and worked with me at Radio Belize for a while. Then he migrated to the United States, where Barbara, let me introduce Barbara at this time. Barbara McNab Grinage. What is Hugh Fuller doing in the United States?
He is working for Stevie Wonder's radio station as a DJ.
Oh, yes, he is. Mm-hmm. So he's a good guy. Yes. You know, I'm proud because his career crossed my path some years ago. So I'm always happy to see how people that have crossed my path have excelled. So could you convey my congratulations to him personally when you return to the United States of America?
I will, and he has his own show. It's not just like I have these hours that I do. He has his own show that's made for him. So I'll tell him.
Please. But he called me and he said, I have a very good friend, Barbara McNab Grinage, who has done so. Well, we found out what you have done from you. And could you talk to her? And I said, of course, because what you're telling me about her sounds like she's a fascinating person to talk to, right? So I'm happy I've had the opportunity to sit here now and learn about you and what you do in life. Right, and the success you have had in your life. So, Barbara, let's start from the beginning. Who is Barbara McNab Grinage? Let's start from where were you born and walk me through it.
Absolutely. I was born in Belize City. I was born in Simmons Alley. Yes, delivered by midwife, Miss Snowy, way back, 1966. And then we moved to Kings Park, and that's where the family home is still located, for my parents. My mom is no longer with us. She passed about 9 years ago, June 7th made 9 years. My dad is still alive and he lives in the family home in Kings Park. So I went to All Saints Primary School, and then after graduating I went to St. Catherine's Academy, and I left out a blue tie. I left out a third form, and then we moved to America when I was 15 at the end of 1981.
What prompted the move to America?
Something about my parents and my mom and dad just decided that they wanted to make a move. I think they had traveled back and forth to different parts of America, to California, to Florida, to New York, several times for different reasons. And then they decided they wanted to try their hands over there in America. So we as kids didn't have a choice. I had an older brother that was 16 at the time. I was 15, and my baby sister Tracy, the one that you met coming in, she was only 8 when we moved. Later on, they had another child over there in America in 1984, and that's my baby brother.
Now, when you arrived in America, what was it like? Because that's a major change, going from Belize to the United States. What was it like for you to adapt to your new home?
Well, weather-wise, because we moved to Miami, Florida, actually Hialeah, to me was kind of similar, right? With the heat, humidity, the mosquitoes, all that stuff. But it was a culture shock when going into the school and stuff like that, because everybody's talking English, which we knew how to talk English, not just Creole, right? But still, we had a thick accent, and kids can be mean, so they started to pick on us. But then we made friends with like the Canadian kids, and they had a different accent that we did, so we didn't get the brunt of whatever was, the teasing that was happening. But we were smart in school because we were very advanced coming from, Catherine's to over there. So that was a big deal too, because in America, they grade on a curve. And so if you get 100% and everybody else gets 60 or below, they're all failing. And then you're the only one passing.
That happened with you?
That was a big deal. And especially for my older brother, too, that he was in class with me, because my mom wanted to make sure he would get an American high school diploma because it would be easier, too, to navigate things over there, right? Yeah. So we were in class together, and I remember the teacher called the principal and cursed big fat bad words about us. He called us the McNab twins, but we weren't twins. And so he was like, get them out of my class now because they're messing up the curve. But he used colorful words, right? And so we had to come out of biology class and go into like U.S. history or political science or stuff that we didn't take here in Belize. So we were very, very smart in school, all of us.
What was your goal in life while in school, your ultimate goal?
Originally, I wanted to be a singer. And so when we moved from Florida, we stayed in Florida maybe about 9 months, and then we moved to California because my mom had a sister there that had job for us and, well, for them, right? And so when we moved to the high school there, it was like in March of 1983, and they were graduating in May, so they couldn't let us graduate. So they said, you're going to have to finish out these 2 months and come back after the summer and do 12th grade. And so for certain classes, I went to help in the career advisor's office because I didn't want to go watch old movies. My brother wanted to go watch old movies because it was lazy, right? And so I used a little bit of Spanish I learned in Catherine's, Spanish 1, to make appointments for the kids' parents to come in for their career conference, what they were going to do when they hit 12th grade, right? And because I was doing that work for free and I was so good at it, one of the people that were heading that department, they asked me what I wanted to do. And I said, I want to be a singer. And then she said, really? And so a month later, when we were on summer break, she called and said, I have a scholarship for you. Do you know how to play any instrument? And I said, I know how to play the piano, because I took lessons with Miss Flasca Sola and Miss Pilgrim growing up.
Before going to the US, yeah.
So I knew how to play like 5 songs really well. Because piano was hard for me. It's not easy like it was for Hugh. It was hard for me, but I practiced and I knew how to play Chariots of Fire. And I went and I played that for the person who was handing out the scholarship. And that lady was ill and she was going to pass away within 6 months, but she lived a year. And she granted me a scholarship to take piano, voice, and theory, how to write music. So then when I got into the 12th grade, I finally finished 12th grade and I went into college, I did radio broadcasting.
Oh, you did radio broadcasting? At what radio station did you do that?
I did it at Los Angeles City College, and they had a carrier current radio station that would only send a signal on campus, but each student had to have a radio show for, I think, 3 or 4 hours, and mine was a country music show. And I did it one time a week because every student had to have their turn, but we had to run everything, like the producer behind the scene. We did playing the music, we had to bring in the news person to do the news, we had to put in the cards to do the commercials. We had to do everything in that 3 hours, and they graded us. And my teacher used to stand outside the door because he hated country music, right? And so we had 2 major professors, and he would stay right there to listen to Willie Nelson and Ray Charles do 7 Spanish Angels. He loved that song, and then he would go back in his office. And the one thing he corrected me on all the time, I said Chicago, like chicken, Chicago, and he said it's Chicago. And he says, other than that, you're fine. That's the only thing I would get a mark off for.
And then you started your own show, like you said?
Oh, well, YouTube, fast forward. So that was in the late 1980s.
So on the radio, you had your own show on radio, you said?
At the school.
At the school.
At the college.
What was it called again?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was the country hour.
The country hour.
I don't think they let us pick a name. It's just that person's going to come on at that hour with the country.
I like walk down memory lane, right? So can you recall some phrases that you used to say? How would you present your show, do your show? How would you...
I remember there was, I think, Hank Williams Jr., and I forgot the name of the song, but I would say, that man's masochistic. I don't know why I would say that, but I had my little talkings that I did. And let me tell you the reason why I took radio broadcasting. When I was doing the singing lessons, the voice teacher, he was trained, in the arts. He was Broadway trained and stuff. Yeah. And he would always want me to talk up the songs that I'm going to sing if they were contemporary songs. If they were Broadway type song, I could just stand there, put my hand and sing. But if it was contemporary songs, like sometimes when we touch, those type of songs I learned, he says you have to talk it up and build it up like a DJ does. Yeah. And I didn't want to. I was afraid to talk. You can't tell no, right? And so he said, he didn't like mince words. He said, if you don't like to do this and you hate I didn't hate my accent. I just didn't want to be teased, right? He said, get into college and learn to drop the accent. So I got into college, and that's where I learned to drop the Belizean accent. But later on, I found out that I didn't want to drop it. So I picked it back up again, right? But that's how I learned to talk up songs for the records.
But you did not go on to a radio broadcasting job, did you?
No, no. I got married at age 20. I finished off school right after that at age 21 and a half. That's when I finished with my AA.
How did you meet your husband?
At my own home. When people say you have to go to nightclub to meet people, it's not true. So my aunt, my mom's sister, the one that lived in California that invited us, my mom's good at rice pudding too. So she made rice pudding that day, and my aunt was friends with my husband because her husband's family knows him. So they would all meet up at parties and stuff, and my aunt's husband was doing his reserve weekend in the Army, where they have to go away for one weekend a month. And my aunt didn't have a ride and she didn't drive, and my mom said, I made rice pudding. So she called up her friend Joe and said, can you take me over there to my sister's house to get rice pudding? And he says, look, I already showered and I'm in my bed. You have to go tonight? And he says, listen, let's go. I'm going to introduce you to my beautiful niece. And so he said, okay, let's go. And when he got over there, he didn't like what he saw. I had Coke bottom glasses. I was young, I was 2 months away from being 18, and he was a little bit older in his 20s. So he just came over there as a good friend to pick up the rice pudding, but then I got his number and started to talk to him.
Okay.
And then we just started to talk as friends first.
I know so many years later you're still together.
Almost 39 years. December will make
39
39
years
years
ago. Wow.
of marriage, yeah.
That's a great story. Now, back to your career now. You left the radio. You did not become a broadcaster on radio. What did you do next?
So I became a housewife, or what they call over there, what they say, home manager. They put all kind of fancy name, but it was a housewife.
A home manager.
A homemaker. So,
Homemaker. All right.
but it was a housewife, and my husband worked, and he preferred it that way because of our status situation at the time. He says it's safer for me to work, safer for you to stay home. And 3 years into the marriage, our first child came along, so I just started to raise the kids and manage the home. But when I took radio broadcasting to get the degree, I have to show off a little bit.
Please.
I graduated summa cum laude.
My goodness.
Yes.
Congratulations.
You and I like to tease about that. Thank you so much. My mom is so proud of that. She said, my daughter graduated laude cum laude. I have a nephew, my sister's son, that just graduated with his bachelor's summa cum laude. So that was a big deal. Yeah, so while I was taking the classes, I had some more units that I needed. So the radio professors went to the TV professors and said, I think she should take some television courses. I said, but I don't want to be on camera. So I took like 5 courses to get a certificate, not a degree, but a certificate. So I had that in my background. And so my husband and I started our own business. We printed plastic bottles. So not the labels that you stick on like on the water bottle, but like on your shampoo bottle, when you see actual printing on it, we silk screen those.
Okay.
And so we were running that since 2002. And one day around the machine, I looked at him and I said, but I'm better than this. Even though I ran the business in the office, I still had to feed bottles onto the machine, right? We had to do all the dirty work. And I said, but I'm better than this. I don't think God put me on this earth to just feed bottles onto a machine the rest of my life. This is going to kill me mentally. And he says, what do you want to do? I said, I want to write books. See how the path is going?
Yeah.
And he said, well, what's stopping you? That's his question for everything. Like, I don't know how to write a book. And he says, well, let's figure it out. So I wrote like a first little book that I don't even mention anymore because it's just about a weight loss program that I was doing. That's like my practice.
So you dropped the TV.
And the radio.
And the radio. and started to write the book.
I said, I'm going to write books. So then after I wrote that book, my mom helped me finance that book. I said, I want to write my Belizean cookbook because everybody used to call me for my recipes. And it's not like I had a lot of them, maybe 50 good Belizean recipes that I got from mommy and auntie them and grandaunts and so on, right?
How would they know about these recipes?
Because we used to make the food and take them to potlucks over there. So whatever we would take, they would say, can you give me that good recipe? And so I remember my uncle Les, my mom's brother, I made like a little folder with, you know, those 4x6 cards? And I wrote the recipe on it. I just stuck it into the little pockets.
Yeah.
And I gave that to him one Christmas as a gift, a cookbook. That's my first cookbook. His son still has it. And so then after that, I started to jot it down in other books. And then I said, okay, I want to create my book. So I made the first book and I named it something funny. I named it Beans and Rice and Jesus Christ.
Let me try and go through that one. Beans and rice and Jesus Christ.
No, let me tell you the reason.
How did that work out?
I figured in marketing, you needed to get attention, right?
Well, you certainly got my attention just so when you mentioned that.
So, and the joke came from when we had our factory. You know how business is in any country. It's feast or famine. So when we had the famine, my middle son would say, Mommy, what's for dinner today? And I would say beans and rice, because you could get that cheap anywhere, right? The churches give that away for free, the raw rice and the raw beans. And he says, what's going to be the meat? Because he was a meat eater. And I said, Jesus Christ. And so that's how we got the name.
But how did that book do?
That book, Renee, it breaks my heart. That book did exceptionally well because the guy that I gave it to put it together, because when you're going to be self-published, you still have to give it to somebody to put it together for you and make it into the actual physical book and sell it. And he says, you want us to do distribution? And I said, yes. And he says, we're going to split the profit half, right? So I thought he had like a machine in his warehouse that he's making these books. And so I bought them from him, and I could buy as little as I want or as much as I want, and I bought them for wholesale price, and I sold them on my own. And that's why I decided to do my YouTube channel, because I said, if I can show them how to do the recipe from the book, they might buy the book. It was a marketing ploy, right? And so that guy was selling, distributing through Amazon, and he never gave me any money. And my mom was a good business person. My dad has the business degree, but my mom was the sharp brain with the business. And she said, get money from that man. And I pursued him for like a couple of years till he gave me like a couple of small checks. And after that, I realized what he was doing, because another Belizean young lady, a lot of the younger kids love me because I'm teaching them how to cook, right? She said, Miss Babs, that man is stealing your money. And I said, how do you know? And she said, I am a seller on Amazon, so I have an app that I use that tells me how many of each item is selling per month. It's not definitely accurate, but it's pretty close. And she says that man is selling upwards of 150 books a month. And he don't give me a dime. So that's why I decided to rewrite the book. And I called it Volume 2, and I took out the name Jesus Christ off of it to not confuse things.
Because I looked down and I saw this book, and it says Beans and Rice Volume 2. Then, of course, you were telling me just now about beans and rice and Jesus Christ. Right? So that's why this is Volume 2, because you took out the Jesus Christ out of it.
And I took out a lot of the recipes that was in that book that wasn't like Belizean. You know, like eggs over easy, that's not Belizean, right? So I took out those, and I put a lot more Belizean recipe, because by then, good people came into my life that says, let me teach you how to make tableta. Let me teach you how to make cotta brute, you know, stuff that I didn't know how to make, right? So this is, I went to a company that all they do is make books. They don't distribute books. So they don't have no permission to distribute my book ever. I'm the distributor. So eventually I stopped that guy because I had to go through Amazon legalities, all that stuff, and then he was threatening to sue me for this when I'm my own book, and it was a thing. I had to fight him. I had to fight that guy for years. After he passed away, I had to fight his wife. I had to fight so many people. So no, Amazon stopped selling because I threatened Amazon. I had to do cease and desist, and we had to like figure out a way. And then Amazon just put a hold on it. So if you look for that book, it'll say it's available. It might say it's unavailable, but if it says it's available, it'll say it's $58, and nobody will pay $58 for it. And then when you go to buy it, you can't buy it. So it's not available anymore.
Right. Now, you said you started a YouTube show. Tell me about a YouTube show.
So at first, I didn't do anything fancy for the YouTube show. It was just natural lighting coming into the kitchen, and I started to teach from that first book. Pretty much the same recipes, right?
All the recipes are Belizean recipes, right? They're not, no U.S. recipes are in this book here. All Belizean recipes, right? All right, tamales, Janice tamales, Joe Kong fritter, rice and beans, fried kalaloo, black beans and rice, meat pies, fried fish, boil up, baked chicken, baked turkey. Yeah, all Belizean, right? Right. Good. All right, so this is 100% Belizean. No, back to the YouTube channel. So I started to teach from the first book and then this book, right, when I started the YouTube channel. And it was just a marketing thing, like I said earlier, because I wanted people to buy the book, and I figured if I gave something away for free, which is me cooking the thing, and I tell them what I'm putting in, like I did with the bread pudding. I don't hide what I'm putting in. You know, a lot of people will say, some of this and a dash of that. I don't do dashes. I have to measure. And so my oldest son said, Mommy, you know what? I think you should ask people to subscribe, you know. And I said, really? Because I didn't know how to do YouTube, right? I made the name like 7 months before I actually put a video up, because I was waiting for the book to be ready, the first book, the Beans and Rice and Jesus Christ book. So I was going to name it the Bare Cupboard Show, because you know over here in Belize, the pantry is called the cupboard, right? Go to the cupboard. My sister said, we're in America, nobody will know what cupboard is, what it means, just change it to pantry. So I called it the Bare Pantry Show, and I named it that because, again, with the business feasting or famine, when we had the famine, I would open the cupboard or the pantry and say, look, all we have in here is tomato sauce. The cupboard was bare.
It was bare, like Old Mother Hubbard. You remember the nursery rhyme? It was like that. That was in my mind.
The cupboard was bare.
Yeah.
So the Portugal had
and I get a lot of heat for it, because when I go to the cupboard and I find ingredients, people say, but that's not bare. The people that watch, but they know what I meant. They know what there was a sentiment behind it.
So the show is called The Bare Pantry. The Bare Pantry Show, that's the name of the show?
When we come back, McNab shared how the show has changed over the years. She also detailed some of the recipes in her books. We step aside to hear from our partners, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, Minister Kevin Bernard and Debari.
But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean?
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Esmeralda Elizabeth Raimundo Pérez. Trabajo en el vivero de la vainilla, Sealgrass Farms. Y me gustan las plantas de vainilla en Sealgrass Farms porque son unas plantas que me distraen, me relajan. Me gusta mi ambiente de trabajo.
My name is Carlos Miranda. I am a proud employee of Sealgrass Farms. I have been working since 2021. I am VCO operator and I am proudly produce virgin coconut oil.
My name is Carlitos Chan. I'm a mechanic maintenance / welder. 4 years now since I'm working with Sealgrass Enterprises. I'm very satisfied. I'm glad with everything that Sealgrass Enterprises allows their workers, and our products are very quality products. So that's what I love about it as well.
Bueno, mi nombre es José Jaime Brizuela. Trabajo en Sealgrass Farm y voy para tiempo de 5 años. Y pues me siento agradecido primeramente con Dios porque Dios nos ha dado trabajo y por los jefes también que han invertido aquí y nos están dando ese apoyo del trabajo. Me siento bien con ellos, contento con los jefes porque se han portado bien conmigo y me gusta todo el trabajo que hacemos aquí en el campo. Me siento feliz, contento, agradecido más primeramente con Dios porque Él es el que nos da la vida, nos da todo.
Orange Walk, the future is brighter. Since Kevin Bernard became your representative, progress has never stopped, with Plan Belize 2.0 leading the way. In Palmar, 2 main roads have been paved. The main road that passes through Tower Hill Village has been paved, connecting our community. In Tan Pine Ridge, the entire road has been paved, a major step forward. And every month, new roads are being paved in Orange Walk East. Kevin Bernard is committed to building a stronger Orange Walk East, one road at a time. Together, we're moving forward. Kevin is the people's champion.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one.
How has the success rate been?
It's been fantastic. I started to get subscribers right away when I started to ask them to subscribe. This is way back in 2011. And I put up 5 videos and I was using music at the beginning and at the end. One was, I think, Pluto Shervington. And then Ernest Smith at the end, Life is Just for Living. And so YouTube hit me up and they said, we like your show. We'd like you to be monetized with us. There's 5 videos. And they said, but you have to get rid of the copywritten music out of it. And I said, okay, what I'm going to do is put up new videos. And as I redo those 5, I think the first video I made was Boil Up. Coming home from church, hot in the heat. You can't even see that video anymore because I made it private because of the music, right? And I just started to put the videos up one a week. So 4 a month, because I was still working at the bottle printing factory. And YouTube made me a partner right away and monetized. But you make money when people view. So I didn't get like my first payout till like 7 months later. because we were building the viewership, right? So we made business cards and started to hand them out and ask people to come subscribe to support.
What's the viewership today?
I have 110,000 subscribers at YouTube and 230,000 at Facebook. Facebook I built faster because Facebook found me in 2018 and said, we'd like you to leave YouTube and come to me. And I said, no, I'm not letting go of YouTube, but I'll make you your own set of videos. And they said, yes. So they started to pay out big money, Renee. They started to do, like, if you put up 100 videos in 30 days, they only have to be 3 minutes long. We'll pay you $5,000. So they paid that kind of way. They don't pay for the views so much. They do pay for the views, but it's very little. So they come and give you big wads of money. Like right now, I got an offer while I was here, and they're like, we want you to do 90 reels in 90 days. And the reels only have to be 15 seconds. So I'm going to take that job because they'll pay out a good $10,000 for that.
Give me a sample of a reel. What do you mean by a reel?
It's a short video that's 15 seconds or less. Some platforms make them longer, up to a minute, minute and a half, but Facebook, I still do 15 seconds. And usually, the ones that do well are the funny ones. Somebody slip down and fall or whatever. But the ones I do is food. Because my stuff is food.
Give me an example. That's what I wanted,
like
really.
If I were to do this bread pudding.
Bread pudding. How would you do a 15-second video?
Just cut it short. We wouldn't do all that long talking.
Yeah.
We would just, I would tape without talking, open the milks, this, that, and chop it to 15 seconds, and then play music over it, and we'd play Facebook music.
We sit all the time, indeed, right? But I just want to know what your for. So you strictly go with food.
Yes. Yes. And for the long form videos, which are not the shorts or the reels, I do lifestyle and cooking, and it's only because cooking alone gets boring for me. You see how many career changes I did, right? Because I get bored and I'll move on. So I've been doing this 14 years, and I said I have to put some type of lifestyle in it to go with the food for me to stay sane. And my viewers understand. So they know I'm on this trip. They're waiting to see this volume of videos that I'm going to put out when I go back. I'll put out like 21 videos in a series. I'll put it on the podcast category at YouTube because YouTube loves podcasters, and they'll put it out there in the algorithm if I put it under that tab.
Excellent. Now, going back to your books now, you did the Rice and Beans Volume 2. You already explained why it's Volume 2. Has there been a Volume 3, 4, 5, 6?
Kinda. I'm going to skip ahead to another book to show you. My sister, Tracy, forced me to do this book at Amazon. I say forced because I didn't want to do it. I said I already did it. So I took 65 of the best recipes out of the 130 in this book, and I made this book at Amazon myself. This is what the man was doing. He was making it at Amazon and selling it and getting the money from Amazon. But I made my own now, and I said, the Belizean cookbook you need, and these ones have 65 recipes, and they have pictures with every recipe.
There's the husband eating some stuff here.
Yeah, I think that's cold food, right?
Cold food, cold food. You haven't eaten cold food, true. Yeah. And just to give folks, and because we have some people that listen to us on radio, and they can't see. So, ingredients: 1 cold foot, 1 pound of tripe, and you continue detailing it here, right down the line, and then you give the method, right? Rinse cow foot and tripe with distilled white vinegar and water. Fill a large pot with water, then add cow foot, tripe, onion, and cilantro. Boil the meats until they are tender. Add water as needed. You can cook in the slow cooker overnight too. So, and you go right on to describe how to cook it to perfection. And these books are available on Amazon. You said this one here?
Yes.
Liver and onions, stewed beef, meatballs, fish, fried fish, baked turkey. I think you're doing a great job here promoting our country. Because it's all Belizean, right?
Proud, yes.
Yes, it's all Belizean.
And the reason why I put like some photos of people's faces in the book is because I've learned that if you put hands, faces, like a human touch to the book, people tend to buy it more because they see people enjoying the food. You ever see those videos where a little kid is peeping above the counter looking at the cookies that the mom's baking, and you just see the mom's hand, but you see the kid's face? You want that cookie, right? So I had to learn that along the way. And I took all these pictures.
I see some whole host of people here indeed. They're enjoying the food. And
my family.
All these are your family?
Yes, that's my daughter.
Okay.
And she's the one that became the musician.
She plays in an orchestra, or she plays alone? Or
Currently, she's a music teacher, and she plays the guitar, and she sings, and she writes her own music, and she also writes for a British producer.
Ballades here and make her feel hungry. And this young man here?
That's my eldest son, Josh.
Josh.
Mm-hmm. He just turned 36 in June, in the middle part of June.
Excellent. So how many children you have?
I have 3 kids. The eldest is my son, Josh. He's 36, and he's a graphic artist. He draws anime, cartoon. And then my middle son just became a teacher. He's been a teacher's aide for 13 years and finally decided he wanted to get credentialed as a teacher. So he just got his master's. And he just secured a job that he's going to start on July the 28th. He's going to be 34 July the 29th. And then my baby girl is going to be 30 December 27th.
Okay. Now, you did many more books from what I can see. Walk me through these books.
This is my second book after the Belize beans and rice book, right? And this one I call The Pantry Laid Bare because this has only recipes that I did on my show that I feel like I'm really good at. You know,
111 delicious dishes. It doesn't say Belize on the cover of this one, but there are Belizean recipes nevertheless.
Recipes in this one.
No Belizean recipe in this one.
No.
Okay.
When I ran through all my Belizean recipes that I knew, I started to do other recipes.
Okay.
And so these are the 111 that's in
what
here.
What recipes would I find in here?
We have stuff like sweet and sour chicken, different type of chocolate cakes, banana muffin, different muffins, blueberry muffin, carrot cake, shrimp fajitas, Mexican tamales, because the Belize book has the Belize tamales, right? And hummus. Just any other thing that I did on my show that I feel like I'm really good at. 2 cheese enchiladas, that's different from our enchiladas, right? Yeah. Sourdough, I have a whole series on sourdough. Okay.
You came up with these recipes yourself?
Yes, I watch other people's videos and learn, and I always make it my own. I will switch out some of the ingredients, or just do a different spice maybe, or even omit a spice just to make it my own, because recipes cannot be copywritten.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just you have to change it around. If something called for buttermilk, I use coconut milk in a recipe, especially for the cakes.
Okay.
So that's this one. This is the second book that I did.
And then you moved on?
The third book I did is this one. An older Belizean gentleman called me because I put my number out there, you know, Renee. I put my number out there, but I put a Google number where I can't be traced because you get stalkers when you're out there doing this type of work. So the man called me and he said, which one of these 2 books have a little bit where I can make one Creole bread? And I said, sir, that book not exists. He goes, well, you need to make that. So I started writing right away. He gave me the idea. And I was going to name it a small batch book when I named it No More Leftovers because my aunt called me and said, is that book ready yet? I said, which one? The one where you're not going to have anything leftovers when you're done cook the food. And I said, okay, it's going to be called No More Leftovers. Yeah, so in here has some Belizean recipes from the first book, right? This little one. And then some from this book. And then I added a bunch of new recipes because I didn't want to just give them the same old things. So like this has Belizean rice and beans, but it's a small quantity. And I have deviled eggs. That's not in the other book, right? And then I have different drinks, these lattes and stuff that people drink over there in America. I don't drink those things, but I put them in. Mini cakes for 6. So these are like 6x2 cakes, black fruit cake, small one. So you don't have to do the big recipe. Mini California lemon pound cake, mini, chocolate cake. So these are all 6x2, and if you're greedy, it'll serve 3 people, but if you want to share, you could serve 5 to 6 people off the cake.
Don't get greedy already just by looking at some of the ingredients here.
Because my cousin come over and go, what's this little piece of thing here? Because the cake is so small when you cut it, it looks fat on the outside, but it's like stumpy on the inside. So you end up with a little piece, right? So I like to make them small because we don't like to have a lot of sweets lying around. I have powder bun in there. You know how when you make a big batch of powder bun, Belizeans will make like 16, right?
Yeah.
We make 8, 4, and even 2 powder bun. Just to make sure that we don't have a lot left over to eat it all week. We just want one for the weekend, you know?
My producer likes to make powder bun. Yes, she calls it powder bun.
Powder bun. Even my American viewers call it powder bun. That's the one Creole they know. Because I say it like I recently I made it in a pouch. I just put the dry ingredients, and when they buy the pouch, they'll get 4, and all they have to add is the butter and the milk.
I eat powder bun every week, right? Since you touch powder bun, right? Because the producer makes powder bun, And then my wife loves baking powder bun as well. So I would have to take her the recipe for your powder bun and see if it compares with hers. Right?
I'm sure Miss Abba powder bun is excellent. I'd come for some.
You know? Okay. And then you
So
went
that's-
on to write another book.
So these books right here, these ones, people tend to like these because of the comb or the spiral, because you notice the books stay open, right?
Yeah.
But this company is very strict. They put these things in here for me, these helpful hints. They construct all that and put it in the book for me. And they only allow you to put a photograph at the start of every new chapter.
Okay.
And this is a la carte. So when I'm building the book, I have to make sure that I'm pricing these things accordingly. So if I don't put none of this in here, the book is like $2.30 for me to buy. But when I start to add all my fanciness in there, that's when the book get up to like $7 for me to buy and then resell it. But I wanted to have these things because I wanted to look like a real little book, right? So these ones I buy from the company direct. I have to buy 100 a piece when I buy them. And I stock them at my house and I sell them from my website. So then I told you my sister got into making books at Amazon. So she says, make a book at Amazon. So I made this one. And I named it The Bread Book You Need, K-N-E-A-D. And these are all the bread recipes that I know. Because I know a lot of bread recipes. It's not just Creole bread. It's all the bread recipes I know.
55 foolproof bread recipes. The Bare Pantry Show, The Bread Book You Need, K-N-E-A-D. 55 foolproof bread recipes. Creole bread, obviously, in here.
Huh?
Creole bread in here, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I have it in 3 different quantities. So you can make like 2.5 pounds of flour and get, like 5 big loaves. Then you can make half of that and get 2 loaves, and then half of that you get 1 loaf. So that will make that man happy, right?
Belizean Creole bun.
Yes. I used to sell Creole bun before I got...
This is your daughter?
That's me. It's good lighting.
Good lighting.
I used to sell Creole bun every week before I had my first son, 60 pounds of Creole bun. And my aunt would sell it where she works, and my other aunt would sell it at where she works. And even important people like Harvey Levin from TMZ used to buy my bun, but he don't know me.
Okay.
He just buy it from whoever is selling it at the hair salon.
Now I see a mini monkey bread and monkey bread large bun, monkey bread leaf.
Different size, the loaf,
Monkey bread.
It's the same one, but 3 different sizes, because sometimes you want to take a big one to a party, sometimes you just want a little one for a Saturday evening, right? Yeah.
Are these books available only on Amazon, or you have somebody in Belize selling them for you?
No, only on Amazon for right now, and I purchase them at a wholesale price, and I resell them from my website too.
So you don't have a handy distribution center in Belize?
No, not yet, not yet.
The bread book you need, and then after that you got what?
So after that, I made this one, the Belizean Cookbook You Need. We kind of went out of sequence, so that's why the title is like that. The K-N-E-A-D, and then the next need.
The Belizean Cookbook You Need.
Right, so I was going like with a series, right?
Okay.
So then I was working on this book a long time ago, but it was hard because these are cakes. And you really have to know what you're doing with cakes. You can mess up with bread and still eat the bread, right? But cakes will flop. And so I had to really test these recipes for a long time. And so I tested more, but eventually I ended up putting 33 in there because I knew those were going to work there. I mean, when you make any of my recipes, it's going to come out accurate.
33 decadent cakes. You have people listening on radio, so that's why I repeat. 33 decadent cakes for everyday celebrations.
This one's called Get Baked.
The Bare Pantry Show. Wow. Yeah.
And that's a joke too in the title, when they say when you get baked, you're stoned or something.
Get baked. So if my producer tells me to get baked, be careful, right?
Any of these cakes will work, and every one of them have pictures. And the book cover design, Renee, I design all my book covers myself. But the back of the book, I sent it away to this little thing called Fiverr for somebody to do it for me. But I did this one myself because I kind of figured what they did to make the back. So, and the reason I put myself on every book is because I'm a part of the brand. It's not just the show that's the brand. My face is also a part of the brand. So everywhere I've gone in town, I've gotten recognized by the best people. I mean, I come to tears when people say, I know you, you're on the pantry.
But you see, Barbara, you started off learning radio broadcasting. Then you went into television broadcasting, and both of them prepared you for where you are today. Really, they set the foundation for where you are today, because with the experience and the knowledge you gained in studying both careers, it enabled you to do an excellent job in putting your talent together and bringing out what you love and putting it together and showing it to the world.
God knew, right?
Yeah.
He knew that I would need that background.
Yeah.
It hit me after I set up my lighting, because at first it was natural lighting, but once I started to set up key light, this, that, I'm like, okay, this is what I learned in school, right? And I set it up, and I can go anywhere and do an interview, and I can talk. Because I used to like to blab when I was in school in Belize, and I used to tell on my own self. Then when I went to States, I went quiet because of the teasing. And then I came out of my shell again when I took the classes and got the degree. And then after that, like you said, I was prepared for this.
Yeah, you can see where everything led to you to where you are today. You know, like open up the way, which goes to a theory that I always have, that when you discover what you have inside you, you know, the universe just opens up and takes you there. You know, because you follow your dream, your passion that you have inside, and certainly I can see that you have followed your dream and your passion, and that achieved so much in the wonderful work that you're doing, and you're also projecting our country, Belize, abroad and to the rest of the world. By, you know, Belize, to me, the food here in Belize is second to none. Overall. Our recipes are second to none, and so I'm happy that you have had the opportunity to expose that.
You know, my uncle was the man that owned Big Daddy's.
Oh.
But I didn't steal none of his recipes.
I remember Big Daddy's very well.
That's my mom's older brother.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now I know who I'm talking to now. It runs in the family.
Yeah, at first, and you only asked me about my dad's side off camera, but my mom's side is rich too and steeped in the culture in Belize.
Oh, well, tell me.
On my mom's side, my mom's mom was Lord, Lord, and my grandfather was Maurice Gomez. My grandmother was Marie Lord on Euphrates Avenue. The house is still there. My cousin bought it and put her mom in the house. And so my uncle is Michael Gomez, that used to work at BEC. My other uncle is Norman Gomez, that was a customs officer. My other uncle is Roger Gomez, that was a salesman for a big company. I don't know. My sister knows the name of the company here. And so my mom's family, you know, go back generations here in Belize too, just like my dad's family. And so when we moved away, they were adamant that we were not going to lose our language, the Creole language, or the food. And my mom didn't cook no other food but Belize food. That's all we grew up on.
But Barbara, when I came in, you mentioned that you were going to do a bread pudding for me, right? Are we still on with that bread pudding?
Yes, you want to go into the kitchen so I can show you how to make my mom's favorite bread pudding?
And it's mom's bread pudding, right?
Yes, mommy gave me the recipe.
But I am eager to see how mom made her bread pudding and how you make mom's bread pudding. Okay, so here we go.
In our final segment, we go into the kitchen as McNab takes us through the process of making one of her favorite recipes. We will have that for you after this break to hear from our partners, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, Minister Kevin Bernard, and the Barry.
Introducing Silkgrass Farms cold pressed juices, 100% natural with zero additives, no added sugar, made only from the freshest fruits. Silkgrass Farms, pure, fresh, sustainable.
Well, my name is Wilson Perez, better known as Chato. I'm the organizer and the president of the New Horizons Sporting Club. In 2022, we had the the award and the sponsorship, full sponsorship from the Minister of Health. And now it is the 4th year that he is year after year sponsoring the tournament, and then it is something that has facilitated and eased the job for me, so that I could have a easier and tournament and organizing. When it comes to the Mundialito, which is a tournament that exists for the 22 years in Orange Walk, being the oldest district with the tournament. From that is a tournament that we do to keep kids off the streets, to help them, to keep them in positive activities. We have to give credit where it's due, and we have to applaud and thank these people who do the initiative, have the initiative, and help the people and the youth to grow in whatever skills they have.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
So Barbara, you brought me to your kitchen, right? And after explaining to me all that you do and all this wonderful work that you have done, you're going to make something special, you said? What special thing are we going to experience right now?
My mom's bread pudding.
Mom's bread pudding, okay. And how young were you when you learned about mom's bread pudding?
I think probably about 8 years old.
8 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And you have been making mom's bread pudding before, or this is the...
I started doing it when I started to cook, like around age 20 when I got married, because my mom would get in the kitchen and make it herself and didn't want to share the recipe. She kept it a secret, but then finally gave it to me.
Okay, well, let's make mom's bread pudding. And that's the official name of it in the book?
I call it, because my mom's name was Rosalie, so I call it Rosalie's bread pudding, but it's truly my mom's pudding.
Okay, Rosalie's bread pudding. Let's start the experience how Rosalie's bread pudding is made. You could walk me through this or talk me through this, please.
It's very easy. We just need 3 cans of evaporated milk to 3 cans of sweetened condensed milk. Mama used to put sugar in it once upon a time and omit one of the condensed milk, but then later she learned if she added another milk and omit the sugar, it didn't have like the sugar settle on the bottom of the pudding, so she switched it out to a 3rd condensed milk, right? So that's 3.
So it has to be 3 and 3, or can it be 4 and 4? Let us say I want to make a bigger pudding.
It definitely depends on the size that you're making. So this is going to be supposedly a 9 by 13, but we don't have a 9 by 13 pan in the kitchen right now. So we're going to use this one. I feel like this will be closer to the 9 by 13. So I would double if I were doing a bigger. Mama used to do a huge sheet, like the sheet cakes. She used to do a huge sheet, and she used, probably over a dozen eggs in hers. Yeah, so I had to figure out the smaller version.
So we have, I see you got 5 eggs.
Yes, 5 eggs.
I counted them.
That's one of the important things. No, this bread pudding is not going to be the kind that you could walk around and hold it in your hand and eat. It's the jiggly one.
Oh, it's one of these.
Yes, that one. That's the one she makes. No, she normally put raisin in it too, but I didn't want to put raisin in this one right here, so we're just going to leave it plain, right? But you can add raisins in yours if you want. My children don't tend to like raisins in food. They like raisins to just eat like that, but not in food, so I think I just kind of omitted it out of everything, right?
And can you substitute the raisin for something like cran raisins or like
Yes, I'm sure, because the bread pudding is very sweet, so it wouldn't be bad, I'll make sure I don't get no shell in there. The what do you call the thing? The craisins, right? The craisins, the cranberry, the dried cranberries.
Dried cranberry.
Yeah.
So you can substitute.
You definitely can, because the bread pudding's sweet, so that would be like a nice tart thing to it. And I know a lot of people put like a sauce on top of their bread pudding, like a rum sauce or something. That's in America, but we used to put sweetened condensed milk on top, but we don't do that anymore because the bread pudding is so sweet and moist. Like it's like, why add more sugar to kill yourself, right?
Sugar,
So 5 eggs. Remember, that's the trick. Don't short yourself on the eggs, because if you do, you're going to be sorry. Making sure I get no shell.
The eggs have to be, the amount of eggs have to be proportionate with the size of the cake you're making.
Yes.
The pudding you're making.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So if I were making a bigger one and double up on the milk, I would definitely double up on the eggs too.
So we do that?
Put the eggs. So this is called the custard, right? We're making the custard for the bread pudding. Now, Mommy had a secret ingredient. A lot of people like to put vanilla extract or essence in everything that they do.
Yeah.
And she was strict about it. She said, look, vanilla don't go in everything.
Oh, yeah? So
the secret ingredient?
The secret ingredient now.
Lemon extract, see?
Well, what's the difference between the lemon extract and any other flavor extract?
My mom says the vanilla changes the flavor of the bread pudding because it's too strong. You know, vanilla is made with the bean and vodka, right? So this is a nice little hint. And everybody, Belizean restaurants in America now, they're putting the lemon extract. Yeah, in the bread pudding.
They get it out of your book now.
Yes, and they're allowed to. Mommy gave it to me, so we'll just put some. It's like a teaspoon, right? Some lemon extract, not too much. You don't want to overpower it, right?
So please don't put the whole lemon bottle in there. Put the whole bottle in there, then what it will taste of just lemon, right?
It tastes bad. So now we undo the bread, and a lot of people would use this.
Is this fresh bread?
Yes. But baker bread, right?
Fresh baker bread. But people used to say they do bread pudding with stale bread.
You don't have to. You don't have to, because you could brock up the bread in there and mash it up, or you could cube it, or you could butter it on both sides and do bread and butter pudding. But we're not doing that today. We are actually doing just the straight up bread pudding, and I like the design. See, so we bought this like a couple days ago. See the brock up. So we need 6 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna use a little bit more because these slices are really small compared to what we get in America.
Slices,
It's not so much the thinness, it's just the size all around. So we're going to use this much. But you don't want to use the whole pack because it's going to get dry. Bread pudding going to get dry. We're not going to cut off the crust.
So you won't use this? Oh, okay.
You don't need none of that. So we're just going to cube it. This is just for a design because you could actually break it up, right? So just cube it. Make sure it don't fall on the floor.
Okay.
And throw it into the custard. You want it to soak up a little bit. All right, we're getting the cubes.
And the custard. There we go.
You know, when I first started to make the bread puddings, I didn't know that part was called the custard.
Okay.
I used to
when you
say
want to think of you want to think of something else as custard.
Yeah, right?
We used to eat custard when we were kids.
But they say anything that you make that's sweet, like that is called a custard. That especially if you use milk and eggs, it's called a custard. So we just want to kind of mash it in there to make the bread kind of soak up.
Move around here so you can.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Let's move this out the way.
Move these empty cans.
It's smelling good already, right, Renee?
Yeah.
Smelling sweet.
Looking good already. So you're stirring this up now?
Yes. Just to wet up the bread, to soak it. Now when you bake, the bread is going to soak on the top and you're going to see it look like that design, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you could mash it up if you want.
But I thought you had to do the bread like turn it into little crumbs and put it in there.
If you pull it apart and mash it, it's going to get more mushy, right? But this is just cubed, just for a design, right? So then we want to bake it on 350, but the other day, Aunt Marlene said, I only bake on 250, but I really feel like we need the 350 from something that we test ran. So you notice no butter went inside the bread pudding, right?
I noticed.
Yeah, so just grease the pan. And then, so use that fat in there. I don't know if other people put butter in their bread pudding, but Mommy didn't put in hers.
She didn't put in hers.
No, if we were doing the raisin or the craisins.
Have you ever tried it with butter yourself, just to see?
Only when you butter the bread.
Since you do so many recipes, maybe you'd have tried it on your.
No, because she says no fat goes in it. So unless you're going to do bread and butter pudding, then you would butter each slice of bread and cut it.
So there's no Barbara bread pudding. There's just Mommy's bread pudding.
Only Mommy, because she gave me this, man. I tell you, she's like, don't give my recipe to nobody.
Oh.
And I said, okay, I'll put it in my book.
But now you're giving it to everybody?
Yeah, then she caught on. She caught on. She said, wait a minute. So we're pouring it. So this would have been a 9 by 13 pan. So I think this will work. This pan is a good size right here. Let us get this spoon. Get all the condensed milk. We don't want to waste nothing, right?
That's the good stuff, no?
Yes, man.
Oh, the sweet stuff.
So this is a rich dessert in the way of sweetness and in the way of money, because you know, milks and stuff is kind of pricey everywhere, right?
But you know, when you look at this, so much milk you're drinking here or you're consuming here, you know, you eat a piece of bread pudding, but you don't realize how much milk and sweet stuff you're actually consuming when you consume consume a piece of bread.
That's why whenever we eat things, we eat slivers.
Yeah.
We don't eat a big wad of it like that. It's a sliver, yeah?
No wonder after you don't eat a big piece of bread pudding, you just feel like, boom, sit down.
Sleepy, you get it. So we're going to bring the oven up to 350, and with this bakes for about a little bit over an hour, but you know, this is a kitchen that I'm borrowing, so it might be done quicker, and you'll see it looking goldeny, and we'll test it, right?
And then we'll get to taste it?
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that because.
Me too.
But remember now, I have to eat. You're telling me I should eat a little piece, sliver. Not a big slice like so. Because sometimes then they do bread pudding, they come and they say, a piece of bread pudding, and they give out a big piece of bread pudding and give you, right?
Yeah, then you spike your sugar.
Because a lot of sugar in this.
Right.
3 tins of condensed milk just in here, and 3 tins of pet milk. That's a lot of milk.
Evap also has sugar in it. You know, evaporated milk has sugar.
In it too, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. So this goes to the oven the way it is.
Yes.
All right.
350 for an hour.
350 degrees
Fahrenheit.
350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So let's do that then. Let's put it in. All right. Okay, Barbara. We moved to the oven, right?
Yes.
That's heavy, right?
It's kind of heavy. And the oven is preheated.
Oh, no. So let me help you here, Barbara.
I said 350 Fahrenheit just now.
Feel hot already.
Yeah. I said 350.
It definitely feel hot.
But this oven is in Celsius, so we put it at about 176, 180 thereabouts.
All right.
And we're going to watch it for that hour.
So it will take about an hour for that to be finished. All right. Let's wait and see if we can enjoy some bread pudding before we leave here.
Yes.
So, Barbara, we are back from the kitchen, and that was a good experience, a fantastic experience, as a matter of fact. Is the Bare Pantry show presented in such a fashion where you have someone with you and you teach them how to do it? What's the format that you use for the Bare Pantry show?
Well, most of the time it's just me on camera, and then I incorporated my family, like my husband and 3 kids, and they were young adults at the time when I started. My children, my daughter was just going to be 16, now she's going to be 30, right? And I put them in the show, Renee, because my mom got sick with cancer in 2012, and I needed to be there to help her along with my sister. And so I figured if I couldn't be on camera, then they could hold over for me and the viewers wouldn't be angry. Because they get upset sometimes when it's not the person they're used to, right? So Hugh, we come back to Hugh, he came to visit me because I had just met him at a political event. And then I sought him out, got his number, invited him to dinner, so my mom and dad came up. And I showed him my show, and he kept picking up the laptop and looking underneath it like this. I'm like, what are you doing? And he said, why don't you put your face on camera? And I said, I don't know, I just put my hands, do a voiceover and keep it moving, right? And he says, but...
So the Bare Pantry show started without your face?
Without my face.
Okay.
Oh, well, my face at the beginning of the show to say I'm making this.
But not while you're doing the actually...
Right. And then Hugh says, you're pretty enough, you should put your face because... And that's when he told me people like to see people's faces, right? So I started to put my face on camera, put my family on camera, put their faces, because they would be behind the scenes most of the time. And my middle son doesn't like to be on camera. I don't know why, because he's so handsome, right? So then I started to invite people. Again, a marketing thing. So I invited the mayor of my town that I live in California, because I don't live in LA, I live in Fontana, about 50 miles east of LA. And she had her own TV show that was local to the town, and I had my own show. So I finagled my way in. It took a year to coordinate this thing. And she said, if I'm going to come on your show, you have to come on my show first. Okay. And am I going to say no? So the producer that was doing it, he didn't like me at all. But it's because I don't have a brick and mortar business. I have a click and order business, meaning I don't have a building that I go to. The business that we were doing was the bottle printing, but this business is at home. And they only interview people who have brick and mortar. So that's why he didn't want to interview me. And so he gave me 100 questions to answer before the interview, like months before. And when I showed up, he gave me 100 more to fill out like essay questions, right? And so the mayor came and she said, she walked in like how you came today, and she said, look, throw away that foolishness. We're going to sit down informal and talk. And I made rice and beans. We didn't cook on camera, but I took the food there. She interviewed me. It was just like this. We had a good rapport. She ate good food. I made the bread pudding too. And then
Mommy's bread pudding.
Yes. And then so there was another lady that used to be either on one of those QVC channels, the one that sells things online, and she invited me to come on her show. She was just starting her own show, and she wanted to do like a 2.5-minute interview, and we cooked a lot of food, right? And she interviewed me that lady did a fantastic, because that's what she does for a living. So she did a fantastic job, and she loved the bread pudding. That's why I wanted to make the bread. But she says, this is something like I've never tasted before. It's more like a flan, right? And so after we were done, we gave the whole cast and crew the food. We went to her studio. Big time lady on TV, and she was starting her own thing. And so then they had another app that people use, social media app called Periscope. So Sherry Shepherd, the actress / comedian, she used to be on the talk. She has her own show now. She used to come on Periscope, but she would hide from her managers because they didn't know she had a Periscope. And so she would ask questions like, where's my soulmate? And 5,000-10,000 people in her chat, and she would see my comment because I would give a unique answer. And I would say, your soulmate, there's no such thing as soulmates, and if there were, maybe mine died at birth. And then she said, what are you saying, Bare Pantry Show? Because I show up as that name everywhere, right? Not as Barbara, right? And she says, what are you saying? And I would give her, and I would tell her it's a joke and I'm teasing. And one day she said, how do you know when somebody truly loves you? Because Sherry always says she's unlucky in love, and I said it's the 3 P's, the letter P's. And then she said, what does that mean again, Bare Pantry? So I kept getting her attention, and she said, I told her provision, promotion, and protection. That person would want to do all 3 for you if they really love you, and you'd want to do the same for them. And she says, I like you. And I said, can you come cook with me? And she says, but I don't cook. And I said, I don't care, I just need you. And then she says, okay, I'll think about it. And I would go back several times, about 6 times. And then she said, when I come to California again, because she lived in New York at the time, I will come cook with you. And so I went to one of her comedy shows, bought top-of-the-line tickets to sit right under her stage. And she kept looking at me like she knew me. And after the show, she says, why do I know you? And I said, I'm the one talking to you on Periscope. She says, I will come and cook with you because you have pursued me. And she came April the 1st, April Fool's.
My birthday.
It is? She came 2016, and my mom was really sick. The cancer had gone away for 3 years and came back, and she was really sick badly. And Sherry came because she wanted to do a good thing to, make me look big time in front of my mom. So I laid in bed next to my mom, and I edited the video right there so she could see the behind the scenes things that we talked about that we're not supposed to say publicly. And so I think the biggest person on the show so far was Sherry. Then I had another newscaster from the local Fox 11 came. Same way, I meet them through Periscope. And then one day he had to do a thing for his Fox channel, and they told him to go find somebody to interview for Christmas. And he said, well, the only person I could think of is you, because you will get up at 4 to let me in the door, and you will cook for us. So they came and they did a big interview for Christmas. And so just along the way, whoever I like, I reach out to them and ask them if they would want to be a guest on my show. And so far, everybody has said yes, and they've come and they get that Belize welcome and that Belize food, and they walk away as family. They walk in there as so-called associates or acquaintances, and they walk away. Sherry Shepherd is still a good friend. 9 years later, still a good. She invited us to everything big time because we know how to behave. We don't steal the stuff and package the food and take it home. And she says, you guys can go anywhere with me because you know how to behave, you know how to talk, and you know how to carry yourself, and you make me look good. And if she is doing something and she needs assistance, all of us, my sister will go to, all of us will jump up and help Sherry behind the scene.
Is there a producer for your show? And I heard you said just now that you edit. Mm-hmm. You edit your shows yourself?
Yes, I do my own editing. I did not know how to edit digitally when I started, because when I went to school, it was in the 80s, so everything is cut, paste, and then
Yes, I'm all about splicing.
Right? And I was good at that. That was one of my talent. Oh, I have to tell a cute story. You know when you spin the records back in the day?
Yes.
So when I took the class the first time, the teacher said everybody's going to fail that first test that Friday because they let us practice all week spinning the records. So I don't know why I figured out that when you heard the first sound from the song, you just go back half a clock.
Yeah,
And that's the perfect cue. He didn't tell us that, but I figured that out. And I was the only one that passed with 100%. And he goes, what he said, like catch lightning and putting in a bottle or something like that. So I had things that I was good at. I was good at cutting and splicing. And when I started the show, I was paying my daughter $25 a video. And then she had the videos stocked up, not interviewing them, not editing them, because she learned in school, in high school. She did television broadcasting in high school.
Okay.
You know, so she was kind of following, right? And she says, I said, can you teach me how to edit? Because I need to know this for myself. And she says, oh, Mama, this is so hard. You won't be able to do it. And it was with a Windows computer. And I said, teach me. I will learn. I'll focus. And I started to learn on Windows. And within a few months, another YouTube content creator said, switch to a Mac. So that was a whole new science because Mac is different than Windows. So I had to relearn, and now I'm so good at editing on my Mac that I know shortcuts that I didn't even know I figured out myself. And I could really teach a whole course on editing on Mac on the computer because there's workarounds. You know, Mac, you only have 2 layers when you're editing, and sometimes you want 4 layers to edit from 4 different cameras or whatever. So you just have to edit from 2, save it, go back in and add 2 more. You know, these workarounds, yeah. So I'm the producer, I'm the on-air talent, I'm the editor, I'm the book writer, I'm the editor for the books too. I don't trust anybody. A man told me years ago, he says, do you trust your mom? And I said, I trust her with my life. And he says, don't even let her edit your book because people will steal your book. So I edit all my own books. It takes a while, you know, because you start seeing the same thing over and over again, right?
What time do you find for yourself and your husband?
I really do find time for my kids and my husband, but my brain never rests. Okay. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm creating. Yeah, you know,
that's a lot of work. You know, I'm the media myself, so it's a whole lot of work.
Like I'm driving around Belize, and I say, if I live here, this is what I would do for a living. If I live here, and I have all these business ideas that I would do. I would open a laundromat. I would make sure I sell food. I would sell a good bread pudding. You know, so there's a lot of business I could do if I moved back home.
Any chances that you'll move back home?
No, not at this point, because my kids love living in America. But you know, never say no, right? My dad thought he would never move home, and he moved home since 2018.
And he has adopted quite well.
He owns Belacqua in Georgeville, the water purification, and he makes vinegar. Okay. So again, he still do business. Over there, he had a store, you know. My dad, he owned a Belizean store where he was the wholesaler. Okay. So he bought the things from Belize and different places and imported it to America, and then he would distribute it to the other retail Belizean stores. Eventually, he opened his retail store and kept it open for like 20 years while he worked at the phone company. And then he closed off the retail part after my mom passed, and they only did the wholesale till he moved home.
How often do you come to Belize?
This is only my 4th trip since we left in 1981.
How long do you stay when you come on these trips?
We left 81. The first time back was 2008 for a funeral. Then 2013 for a vacation. 2016 for another funeral, and then my sister brought us on this all-expense-paid, beautiful trip that she's doing.
And how long you staying this time?
3 weeks, 21 days. We'll go back on the 12th of July.
Have you visited any areas that you were not aware of that existed in Belize?
Yes. Even Cayo. I think we only visited Cayo one time when I was a kid growing up because my uncle lived there. So we go to Cayo often because we're staying in Belmopan. So Belmopan is one. Cayo, this village right here, Tea Kettle. And we only used to go from the city to like Rockville, you know, when we lived here and was growing up. I think we went to the Key one time as a child, to San Pedro. So now tomorrow we're going to go to Northern Lagoon. We used to go to that often as a kid because my mom's family has property up there. But now we're going, you know, with a tour guide tomorrow, and then we're going to go to the Keys. And I think my sister said ATV cycling or something we're going to do, and some reggae rafting. And she have it planned. Okay. She have it planned for us to do.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You know, you mentioned just now about your dad that he moved back to Belize, and so talk to us more about him. I know he's well known, so let's hear it from you.
My dad is an interesting character, and okay, it started when he was younger. He was a cycling enthusiast. He rode. He was the president of the federation for a good many years. He won a lot of trophies doing like the sprints and stuff. He didn't win cross country, but he represented Belize at the Olympics in 1968 with, I don't know the man's real name, but his first, Powder Sutherland. Those two went for cycling, and then one went for running or something else, I think, or high jump. I don't remember what, but there's three of them went to the Olympics in 1968. And then he did businesses and stuff, and then he had a band, the Vibrations, from 1972 to right at the end of 1981.
Your dad, Denfield McNab, was with the Vibrations, right? The Vibrations did one or two records and a few recordings. They did one, Cool Out Sun.
Cool Out Sun.
You're familiar with that one?
Yes.
But you'd have been very young when that came out.
Yeah, but I wasn't with the band. When I was here, I didn't know how to sing because I had to get the scholarship in America and I learned how to sing, right? But I took Glee Club at Catherine's, and I took choir with Miss Debbie Perry at All Saints, and I loved singing, but I couldn't sing. It sounded awful. And I remember I went to my dad one time because they are very honest, and I said, can you let me sing a song with the band? Because Shelma Dean Parks used to sing with the band every now and again, that young lady, like my age. And he said, no, with the band need to make money. And so when I went to the States, that's why I learned that. But he had the band for a long time.
Yeah, I remember the Belizean Vibrations, Belizean Vibrations, I think we used to call them. I used to play the record on Radio Belize. Right, that's why I remember it, because I was on alongside on Radio Belize. I remember the Vibrations. I can remember them when that record came out. I can still see the record in my mind, right? And so, yes, Denfield McNab was part of the, an integral part of the Vibrations. He was the owner, right? Yeah, I remember now. So, hey, I didn't know that years later I'll be talking to his daughter.
A lot of people think I got into music because of that band, but my dad had me in piano lessons from I was young. You know, he liked music. I think his dad, after he retired from building road, used to tune pianos for a living. So my dad can mess around with a lot of instruments, can't really play anyone really well, but can fiddle with all of them. So that was good to know, having the band. But he was good at managing the band because he selected the songs that they were going to rehearse, and he made sure the band got together and rehearsed. So because everything he does, he wants to be the best. And he trained us to do that too. Everything you do the best to be the best. You might not win everything, but just give it your all.
What I remember of the record is that the label was Purple, if I can remember correctly. It's a Purple label record, right? So I can remember.
They had some good songs on it.
I was a young DJ at Radio Belize, a young announcer at Radio Belize at that time. Right.
He had the record transferred to CD while we were in America, so they have CDs of it. Yeah.
It's good to make that connection. You brought back some memories there. Yeah, those were the days when recording records, doing records was a novelty. You know, the days of the Harmonettes, Glenn Booth, you know, Vibrations and others. You know, Lord Ribbon, of course, Lord Ribbon was always around. You know, and so on, the Professionals, and you know, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, he used to. Those were his competitors, but they were all friends.
They were friends,
and they would swap players. When I turned 11, I wanted to have a birthday party because my mom used to always go to America when it's my birthday in August to buy instruments for the band. Little vacation and buy instruments for the band. And I said, Mommy, can you please stay this time and not go and spend my birthday with me? And she says, what do you want? I said, a party. So she threw a big party, and the Vibrations played underneath the house bottom with the coconut leaf around. And then when they rested, there was no DJ. Ray-Ban used the instrument and they played. That was the best birthday party on the block back there in Kings Park. I had Vibrations and Ray-Ban for my 11th birthday party.
That would have been fantastic. That was fantastic. Vibration and Ray-Ban wore what topper, right? No, I'm looking at your husband sitting right there. Hi. Is he from Belize?
Yes, he's from Sand Hill.
Sand Hill. Okay. So he knows what I'm talking about.
Yes. His mother's people are the Bishops, and his dad is Grinage. Okay. Well, his dad's passed.
His name is?
His name is Joe Grinage.
Joe. your wife very active. I mean, she lives a very active life. And I'm sure she's very successful as well. Now, how do you cope with all of this?
You know what? I just get used to it. I understand. Because if she get up in the morning, the minute she get up, she go on her computer and ask me, what for breakfast?
So you do the breakfast?
I do the breakfast to give her a chance so she can go ahead and do her stuff. Yeah.
Okay. What is usually there for breakfast?
She usually like with a poached egg with a toast bread and what else?
And it's homemade bread.
Yeah, homemade bread.
We do fried toast.
And that's about it. Right?
And you copy any recipe from her book that you can do in there for recipes?
Sometimes I do some of that. You know. Yeah. So, yeah.
See, she described earlier on in the show how she met you, but it didn't tell me it was love at first sight. Well, for you, was it love at first sight?
It wasn't love at the first sight because when I first saw her, she used to get like 2 Coke bottles.
Yes, you said that.
I said, but then when she started to speak, I said, well, you know what, she's a smart somebody. And gradually we started to call each other, and right from there it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're from Sand Hill. Tell me about your Sand Hill family.
My mother is Bishop, Loretta Bishop, and my dad is Joseph Grinage. I'm junior. And we live right by the old road by the junction to go from Cookie Tree to, when you switch off to Curacao and Orange Walk. I still got my brother. I got 2 brothers over here, or 3. My sister. I got 3 brothers back in America.
Okay.
And 2 sisters.
So how have you been enjoying your stay in Belize so far?
So far, pretty good because it's hot to keep sweating. I got to get used back to the weather.
Yes, well, you see, our heat has a lot of humidity with it too, and I think that's what, because it's hot in these parts of the U.S. as well.
The minute I walk out there, I got to.
Well, Joe, thank you, man. All the best, man, and thanks for opening up to us and talking with us. Right? You got a fantastic wife here, Joe. Yeah.
I will change you for the world.
Sweet boat, huh?
Well, you know, Barbara, our show, Belize Watch, focuses on the past, how it impacts the present, and builds the future. That's the bridge, right? And you have certainly taken us from the past to the present, right? And we have looked at the future, right? Because I could see the future will be very bright for you as you continue on the path that you have chosen, inspired by love. Because, you know, this thing about love comes from within, and it inspires us to be what we are.
Right? Yes. And I'm definitely going to continue what I'm doing. And I do have a love and a passion for sharing good recipes with people, because a lot of people don't know how to cook. You assume that they know how to cook. And when they learn something like this, they can help themselves. Because when I see like a grown woman, no matter the nationality, American or Belizean, they're 35 years old and I say, oh, I don't know how to cook. I'm like, you're limiting yourself.
Books.
Yeah, learn. You don't have to be a chef, but learn. And I've never wanted to be a chef. My thing is always the broadcasting. I love telling a story, and I love creating videos to tell a story. I like to see how the story unfolds. I wrote another book, Renee, really quickly, about my mom. She was writing it at first because I was helping her, and after she died, I wrote the book last year, and it's storytelling again about her childhood, and that's what I love. I love family, and I love telling stories.
And that will be available on Amazon as well?
Yes,
all
yes.
Right. So we'll look out for that.
Yes.
Well, let me see. The Bare Pantry Show, Get Big. The bread book you need. The Belizean cookbook you need. Beans and Rice Volume 2. No More Leftover. The Pantry Laid Bare. Well, what can I say? Congratulations and thank you so much for sharing your life story with me. I certainly enjoyed it, right? And I could certainly experience the love and that inspires us to be the best we can be. But, love is a choice.
Yes.
And because we always make that choice, we will always say, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now. Yes.